Hey guys, this is Jared. I am here in Ormond Beach, Florida on the Redemption Tour, and as I was preparing for tonight's talk at the Waveriders group at Salty Church, I got to thinking, sometimes we have to get our heads out of the Bible and fall in to the larger story of what God is doing. Everything in the Bible is meant to point us to a greater reality of what God is doing in the earth today and what He will do in the future and what He has done. But sometimes we just turn it into like this math book where we've got to get all the right answers and show our work and figure everything out, and then when we show our completed book to God, we receive His favor, we receive eternal life, when that wasn't how it was intended to work at all. Jesus said to the Pharisees, "You search the Scriptures, for in them you think you have life." So what He's actually saying there is that apart from Him there's no life in the Scriptures. Because He goes on to say, "And these are they that testify of me, yet you refuse to come to me that you might have life." So what's Jesus saying here? He's saying that the Scriptures alone, without a divine encounter with the love of God, is absolutely pointless. It's just dead religion. It doesn't work. It doesn't give us the abundant life that God offers. And Paul says in Corinthians, he says, "Knowledge puffs up, but love builds up." As I was sitting at Starbucks just a little while ago studying on my sermon, I realized I was caught up in this frenzy of trying to study my point and get all the right answers and get it all figured out. And I was in this Facebook argument with somebody and trying to prove that I'm right and all this stuff, and I just felt the Lord saying to me, "Stop. Go take a walk on the beach." And I stood in one spot for 15 minutes and just let the waves crash over me and received the Father's love. And I realized, if I don't have that, my knowledge of the Bible profits me nothing. And it's not going to do the people that are listening to my talk any good. Because people don't need my excellent theology. They need an encounter with God. And, as ministers of the gospel, it's our excellent theology that leads them to that encounter. So I'm not saying we don't study. I'm not saying we just, whatever, But what I'm saying is what Paul says. He goes, "Knowledge puffs up, but love builds up." And so there's times where I'm focusing so much on studying and being right that my heart's actually growing faster than my head. And so sometimes I need to just go stop, take a walk on the beach. I need to go feed the homeless. I need to go love my neighbor that I haven't talked to in 5 years. I need to get out there and do something to practically demonstrate my faith, to practically live out the story of God that the Scriptures point to. So Paul says, knowledge puffs up, love builds up. So in that manner, by standing on the beach, receiving the love of God, I'm actually building myself up in love and in my capacity to love others. Why? The Scriptures also say in 1 John, we love because He first loved us. In other words, we have zero capacity to love without first receiving the love of the Father. And so that's why sometimes Bible study needs to be a walk on the beach and a conversation with God. Other times, study the Scriptures. It's great. It's awesome. I'm not anti-Bible. In fact, all of these things that I just mentioned, believe it or not, I got from the Bible. So read the Scriptures. Just remember to fall into the larger story of God that the Scriptures point to.